3, 2, 1, let's go!
Turned out to be the most exciting race of the day out at Piffler's. My goodness, Kurt Hansen of Race Central Television and Radio joins us, and you do that every year for the Daytona?
We have a good time, and today we had no concrete or track issues at Piffler's, which was probably a good thing, but as you can see by my expertise, kind of frightening, but a good time.
Are you the one who fell at the end there?
No, that's a conversation for another time, Vic. And I love you, but we're not going to do that.
Let's bring in NASCAR Brett, because he feels a little bad. He's normally our resident gearhead, and he's a little jealous that you're in studio. So if you don't mind, he play a role in this interview. He'll just stand back. He's our pit crew. Okay, he's our pit crew for this.
Works for me.
All right, first of all, the finish today. Obviously, there were so many flags at the end of that race. Is that good or bad for NASCAR?
Well, you know, NASCAR has done a lot of things as of late over the past couple of weeks to make the racing more exciting. They've given them horsepower back. They've made some changes to, you know, appeal to the hardcore fan base, but also make it entertainment 101, and that's what they've done. And we certainly saw it today. You know, they are doing everything they possibly can, Vic, to be sure that these races finish not under cautions, but under green flag racing conditions. You certainly can't predict what's going to happen with the racetrack. The track was paved back in 1977. They're due to repave it next year. It happened. It's just one of those things you can't predict.
Yeah, there was a pothole on 6th and Spear, I believe, that they haven't fixed in years, so maybe we can get that crew working on that one. How does Dale Earnhardt Jr. go from 10th to 2nd in one lap, essentially?
Well, that's the exciting thing about the Daytona 500. There truly were, and I've been asked a lot over the past week or so, who's going to win this race? There were 20 cars that could win this race. That's what Earnhardt Jr. does. He and his dad are terrific on what they call restrictor plate tracks. The ironic thing is that Teresa Earnhardt co-owns the car that is in Victory Circle with Jamie McMurray. That's the team that Junior left to go to Rick Hendrick. So that's got to put a real crunch in his undies, because the bottom line is he's got to look at his stepmom, or stepmonster as he calls her, and look at her in Victory Circle and say, I was that close. But that's what's neat about Daytona, is you can make that move in the last lap, and that's what the fans want to see.
Jimmy Johnson has dominated the sport of late. Who is the man this year?
That's like asking me how long a piece of string is, Vic. I mean, as we saw today, there are 20 cars that can win these races. The things that NASCAR has done as of late will bring this type of close, exciting racing back. It will not be a lead follow anymore. We won't see the dominance, at least I hope not, of Rick Hendrick. You know, we got Jeff Gordon going for the drive for 5. Jimmy Johnson's going for the drive for 5 in a row. I want to see more parity. We saw it today with Jamie McMurray, a guy that literally was out of a ride at this time last year.
You know, it seems to me Danica Patrick now coming up.
Who?
Danica playing the Nationwide Tour, whatever. I thought that was a golf tour before she started racing NASCAR. She wrecks yesterday. It seems to me that the fellow drivers have a little bit of animosity towards Danica, and she hasn't even started yet.
You know, that you're so right on. I mean, when she basically shocked the open wheel world a few years ago by almost sitting on the pole at the Indy 500 and, you know, led laps, a lot of drivers felt, you know, they actually were in the hunt to win the Indy 500 that year. Danica didn't do it, but all the spotlight was on Danica Patrick. This is happening now. This is exactly why NASCAR came to Danica. Don't get me wrong. NASCAR came to Danica to bring that fan base and that excitement to the series. We saw it a week ago, 72% increase in NASCAR viewership numbers the weekend that she ran the ARCA Remax race. Nationwide, big numbers yesterday, or actually Saturday. And the reality of it is that Danica got taken out, but not by her own doing. She did all the right things. The car was not good. She dropped back a bit. They made good adjustments in the first stop. She was coming back through the field, and she got caught up like it does happen at Daytona in someone else's mess.
Kurt, there have been whispers, because we know this is a pretty big market for NASCAR, bigger than we think. There are whispers that there's going to be a track built here soon. Is that going to happen, or is that just,
It's a bunch of whispers.
Is it really?
I hate to say that, Vic. You know, I moved here from Northern California and have been around the country and been to many of these tracks. And it's all good fodder for people like you and I. The reality of it is we're not economically nor politically, I think, positioned correctly to build a track like that. NASCAR's not going to do it on their dime. They need funding, or they need tax money assistance. That's not going to happen. There's people that are very grassroots back in Aurora that are called NIMBYs, not in my backyards. They don't want it there. The reality of it is, when they built the track in Kansas, it was a $150 million infusion of revenue to that market, but they don't need that in Aurora.
I need a pit stop real quick. Brett, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good job. Hey, Kurt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Listen to the show. When can they listen? Race Central.
Every Saturday on AM 1510, Mile High Sports Radio from noon to 2. And they can catch us Race Central TV on Altitude Thursday nights at 5 o'clock.
And if you ever need a guy to hold a wrench, NASCAR's your man. Thank you very much.
He's my guy.
Up next on Arby's All Access, right after